Well, it seems like people ask Matt Walsh for dating advice. I find that to be seriously hilarious.
And with their questions. And then we've got one person who, rather than asking me for advice, made the mistake of going to Reddit instead. And so we'll help that person out as well. All right, this is from Anonymous. It says, hello, Mr. Walsh. I was hoping you could help me with a problem I'm having. I've been with my girlfriend for 4 years now. I plan on proposing to her this year. I know. I should have already done it by now. I'm a bad, sweet baby. Anyway, we've recently begun to argue quite frequently about what to watch on TV when we watch together. She likes to watch reruns of Friends and Seinfeld or early 2000s rom-coms.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
I like to watch good stuff like Vikings and King of the Hill,
I'm so depressed I can't even blink.
with some generally awesome movies thrown in from time to time. She usually uses her magic woman powers of guilt to sway me into watching whatever absolute garbage she wants to watch. She thinks I'm having bowel issues because I'm always going to the bathroom, but I'm really just sitting on the toilet waiting for her episode of Grey's Anatomy to end.
Based.
Will I ever win this war? Is there a way to balance this issue?
Wow. Can't you just like, hey, talk to her and be like, hey, you pick a show, and then I pick a show, and then you pick a show. I mean, I've done that with many people before. We go back and forth picking a different show that we like so that the TV in the living room isn't just monopolized by one person.
Flawless taste in entertainment is being polluted by stuff like 90 Day Fiancé and Big Brother. Side note, she's also Jewish and refuses to watch Mel Gibson movies with me. I get it, but come on.
Wow. Side note, she's Jewish. Ooh, and yeah, why would anybody want to watch a Mel Gibson movie, especially if they're Jewish, being the fact that he is a rabid anti-Semite?
I don't get it. First of all, I don't get it at all. Because she's Jewish, you can't watch Mel Gibson?
This film is anti-Semitic and it must be stopped.
If you're only going to watch films or shows that star or were made by people who've never said anything offensive or unsavory, or done anything offensive or unsavory, you basically eliminated anything you could possibly ever watch, especially.
Wow, so he's saying that if you don't want to watch movies by a racist, you can't watch any show whatsoever. What a wild jump there.
Coming from modern Hollywood. So I would even give her that argument. In general, putting Mel Gibson aside, who, by the way, is one of the best filmmakers currently, even still working in Hollywood.
If there were...
No, dude's trash. You only like him because he is anti-Semitic.
any justice in the world, which we know there's not, he would be given an Oscar.
With women, treat movies and shows the same way you do restaurants.
Listen, where should we go?
Anywhere you want.
Let's not think about what I want. How about anywhere you want?
It's a cliche, it's a stereotype, but it's also almost always true that women have a difficult time deciding where they want to eat. And so, I'm sure you've had this conversation before where you're in the car, ready.
No, some may. There are some people that are indecisive, men and women. And there are people that do know where they want to eat when they want to go out. So, and this is just showing his, his sexist side where, hey, women are dumb. They don't know what they want. They don't know where they want to eat.
You're deciding what you want to get on Uber Eats or something, and you ask her, oh, what do you want? And so, I don't know, you pick. And you say, okay, well, then here, we'll go to Outback Steakhouse. Oh, I don't want that. Okay, well, instead, we'll go here and say, oh, I don't want that either. So she won't give you a clear idea of what she wants, but at the same time, if you throw an idea, she doesn't like that. And you just have this back and forth. That's why when it comes to when you're going out to eat.
I've honestly never had this issue with a person. I'm like, hey, you want to go here? And they're like, no, how about we go here? And then I'm like, I don't really like that place. And then, hey, how about this place? And then we're like, yeah, that place is good. So we decide on a place.
And this is what I learned this lesson a long time ago. And so if I'm going out with my wife, we don't even have a conversation anymore about where we're going. I'll make the reservations and I'll say, okay, can you get the babysitter for Friday night at 6 o'clock. And then she'll do that, she takes care of that. And then I make a reservation somewhere. And she doesn't even know where we're going until we get there a lot of the times.
Okay, you don't do that because she's indecisive. You do that because you like to control your wife. That's all this is about. It's about control over women.
And it works out. I pick a place that I know she'll like. It's not like I'm only trying to pick stuff that I'll like. I pick a place that I know that she'll like. We don't have to have an argument about where we're going. I take care of that. I take the lead on that. She appreciates that more. And really, from her perspective, it's like I've taken care of, so you don't have to worry about where we're going to eat.
Who ordered this?
The gentleman did, ma'am.
Most people generally understand that with restaurants, and I think probably most women wouldn't disagree with what I just said. It's a little bit more controversial with movies and TV shows, but I think I think you have to adopt a similar attitude where it's like you can come up with shows that she'll like, or at least she should like them. And so you just got to.
Wow. She should like them? Like, this dude is like a 1950s, like, trad husband douchebag where, it's the husband that is dictating what the woman likes or watches or eats and does. And it's pretty... It shows, in my opinion, a bit of insecurity if you gotta be this controlling of other people.
Take the lead on that and say, listen, here's a good show. We're just going to put it on. If I describe it to you, you might think you won't like it, but I think you will. So let's just watch it. And you just take charge of it. You take that remote, you put it on, and that's it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there are some cases where, you're showing a person a show, and you describe it like, hey, you may like this show. And you give them a test watch. Like, let's watch the first episode. But it's not like, hey, you like this show now because I say so. We're going to watch it. That's just not how relationships work.
Okay. Now, it's a little bit awkward that I'm giving this advice today after I just admitted on the show that that's what I did on Valentine's Day. And I put on a 1990s Kurt Russell action flick on Valentine's when she wanted a romantic comedy. I'll admit that I thought she would like it. Ultimately, it wasn't a big hit. You're not gonna bat.
Yeah, obviously, his wife is definitely not happy in the relationship.
1,000 on this thing. You're gonna make mistakes. It happens. But in general, take charge, take the remote, put on what you both will like. All the advice I've just given you, take it at your own peril. That's all. That's the case for all this.
Wow, take my advice at your own peril. He's not even... He's giving people advice with a really bad warning. So that means he's not even giving good advice because he knows in his own relationship they're not doing well.
I don't take any responsibility. If I give advice and you run with it, I take no responsibility for what happens after that. People are raving about Genucel skincare. Jessica from Hunt.
Nope.
Along with Rare Botanical.
Nope.
All of my...
I hate their ads.
Use a Genucel under most popular
I
packers.
doubt you even use it.
Walsh. My future mother-in-law recently shared that my fiance...
Wow. Okay. So the first person said at the end, I'm a sweet baby. And then this person is saying, aloha, sweet daddy. So he's like, all these people writing into him, like, have some kind of, like, kink for him or something. They probably have, like, a 1950, like, kink.
Fiance's sisters and their husbands had all gone out to a strip club together, buying each other dances and delighting in how the big girls could make it to the top of the pole. From her perspective, this was a wonderful, normal bonding experience. I was too aghast to respond, and after she left, I asked my boyfriend what he thought about it.
Okay, let's start this from when he starts speaking, because I think I missed something. My future mother-in-law recently shared that my fiance's sister and their husbands all had gone out to a strip club together, buying each other dances.
A strip club together, buying each other dances and delighting in how the big girls could make it to the top of the pole. From her perspective, this was a wonderful, normal bonding experience. I was too aghast to respond, And after she left, I asked my boyfriend what he thought about it.
This is something people do a lot where, you know, they go to strip clubs and watch people strip and stuff. It's like, I mean, I find it boring, but it's like something that people do.
He simply said he would never want to go to a strip club with his family because it would be awkward. Well, this was an encouragement.
I mean, well, it definitely would be awkward with your family, but I mean, there are people that do that.
Encouraging response, I haven't been able to let it go. I don't mean to add to your problems. I don't know how encouraging that response is, actually. I would never want to go to a strip club with my family because it would be awkward. Now, correct, like, that is, I can't imagine anything more awkward than that, and you shouldn't want to go to a strip club with your family. More encouraging response is, I don't.
I mean, though, going to a strip club with your family is like no real different than going to any kind of like burlesque show or some kind of somewhat like sexual show or whatever with that somewhere. And so, I mean, I don't know. I just, that kind of stuff is just not really up my alley. So it's like,
I don't want to go to a strip club at all. Maybe that's a conversation you want to have with him. Although I've always known his family was more lewd and promiscuous than mine, the new level of debasement, debauchery, and dysfunction the strip club snafu reveals makes me extremely uncomfortable. I'm now even more concerned about future outings with these people, and I certainly wouldn't want to rear our future children around this sort of immorality and insanity. My boyfriend is extremely kind and isn't the type of person to criticize his family. Is there a way to broach this topic without directly criticizing his sisters, their marriages, and their morality? Am I making a mountain out of a molehill?
just be like, hey, when your family wants to go to strip clubs, I don't want to go. You know, simple as that. Just don't go. And
you're not making a mountain out of a molehill at all. I mean, this is disgusting. Disgusting! First of all, in general, going to a strip club in general, it's like dirty, grimy, disgusting places where you've got these drug-addled, like, women who are up on...
No, why do you assume that? I mean, there is a negative idea of, like, strip clubs and stuff. Sex workers aren't always, like, drug addicted, bad people, just, you know, doing whatever. But, you know, being that he's a religious prude, he's going to try to make these people seem to be like some kind of bad person or bad people, when in reality, you know, people that strip or do whatever kind of sex work, it's just another capitalist gig.
On the pole and everything, you shouldn't even really have any desire to go to a place. Like, just sitting around with other creepy weirdos, like, watching this. It's disgusting in general. To go with your family or go with your spouse, I mean, just levels of
Okay, yeah, going with your family can be awkward. Going with your spouse, you know, there's couples that do it all the time. There is the warrior kink, which a lot of people actually have. Because, I mean, if you watch porn, in a sense, you have a warrior kink.
It's like you take something that's already gross and just add levels of grossness on top of it. And so you're not at all wrong for seeing it that way. And it does reveal something about his family. Doesn't mean you hold it against your fiance. He wasn't the one who was there. And it sounds like he objects as well. But it's good information for you to know. Can you broach this topic with him without directly criticizing his sisters and their marriages? No, you can't. Any attempt to broach it without being direct about it, I think is not going to get you the result that you want. I mean, you have to address this head on, especially with him.
All you gotta do is say, hey, I don't want to go to strip clubs. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Doesn't mean you're berating him about it or taking it out on him. Certainly you don't want to do that. It sounds like you're not doing that, but just be direct. Like, this is wrong. It's gross. It reveals something about these people that I'm very uncomfortable with. When we have kids, you know, this is something I'm going to take into account. Like, I wouldn't leave my kids with these people, given that their value system is so wildly separated from your own.
Right, because these people are going to take the kids to a strip club and like what, show the bouncer their ID and be like, yeah, this baby's 18. Like, no, that's not going to happen.
And so I think that's something that you want to tell him and just be upfront about. And based on what you've told me, it sounds like he wouldn't even necessarily disagree. This is from Matthew, says, I'm an 18-year-old from South Australia. About 6 to 7 months ago, I started talking to this girl, call her Eliza, from Minnesota, who I followed on Instagram because she always posts epic-based things to her story, a lot of which concerned you. We've been talking ever since, and it's been really fantastic.
Ah, gross. Chick posting quote-unquote based things about Matt Walsh. Like, gross.
I've never met anyone who not only has such similar views and values to me, but with whom I can relate so deeply and thoroughly. I'm certain that she is the perfect match for me. To this end, I've decided that I'm willing to, at some point, when appropriate, move to Minnesota and do all that I can to be with her. Fortunately for me, she has a boyfriend right now, but I've spotted some misalignments in their beliefs and hence problems for their future. She's also said herself that I would be better for her, but she pictures it like those tragic books where the main character doesn't get to marry the right guy. I'm 100% ready to wait for this girl and have actually already turned down several offers from other girls in South Australia. I've been told by people, including my mother most recently last night, that I shouldn't put all my eggs in one basket. I responded that she's telling me to settle, with which she disagreed. Is waiting the right move? Am I wasting my time? Is everyone who is saying long distance doesn't work right? I know it doesn't, but I...
Okay, no. From what he's talking about, okay, the girl is dating somebody, but she is, like, leading this dude on, trying to be like, oh, her, oh, I wish I could be with you, blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, they both seem like a really bad match for each other, and should probably not try doing any long distance dating. And, like, this guy is already thinking about moving to the United States for this girl, when, like, I bet they actually barely talk.
I haven't had a break in conversation with this girl in 7 months. What do I do? Wait, get over there and try to win her over, give up. I'm in a difficult spot. Thank you, Papa. You're a bloody legend. Love your work, mate. Papa's sweet daddy, Walsh, is fine. I'm going to
Wow, he called himself Papa Sweet Daddy Walsh. Okay, this dude is trying to express some kink side with other men, and that is pretty weird.
give you the bad news then, unfortunately. Matthew, great name. And that is that...
Only weird because this dude is supposed to be straight. Why does he want men to call him Sweet Papa Walsh or Sweet Daddy? Like, wow, what's going on here?
The issue is not that it's long distance. Let me say that to begin with. Long distance relationships can be fine, they can work, and in the modern age, when you can be in contact with someone, and even Australia to Minnesota is quite a long flight, but you can get on a plane and fly and be there. What doesn't work is that she has a boyfriend and she's talking to you, and that she's been talking to you, what, for 6-7 months, and she's had a boyfriend the whole time.
I mean, she could be poly, but it doesn't seem like she's mentioned that. So, yeah, I agree with that. The issue is, well, I mean, technically, that's not even an issue. Of talking to him, I mean, because, you know, you can talk to anybody you want, even if you're dating. The fact that she's, like, leading him on, and, like, acting like she wants to be with him.
And she's even saying to you, so we can't even let her off the hook here by saying, well, maybe she doesn't realize, you know, she's what this is. She doesn't realize you have feelings for her. Sounds like you both have had frank conversations and she's told you, oh, it's one of those books where you're the right guy, but I'm with this guy and I can't. That is what tells me that you are unfortunately wasting your time with her. And there are girls in your life who you know.
That's
lovely.
And you're rejecting them in favor of this other girl who's with a boyfriend. You know, I think that's a very bad idea. And to move from Australia to Minnesota for this person who has a boyfriend is also a really bad idea. And let me tell you why. You know, it's not that you're wasting your time waiting. Like, more than likely, in fact, not more than likely, guaranteed this girl will eventually break up with this guy that she's with. I know that based on her behavior. It's not going to...
Well, no, you actually don't really know anything. I mean, what behavior? All you know is what this dude has told you. So you actually don't really know that much about her.
Last, okay? So that's going to... So yeah, I don't mean to encourage you by saying that, but she will break up with him. but she has revealed something about her character.
It is so bad.
So maybe her political values line up with you. Maybe her ideological values line up with you. She's a fan of mine, which is great. Okay, that's a big plus in her corner there. That's one for the win column. But even so, the fact that she's with someone and yet she's talking to you, which is betraying the person that she's with. It's dishonest to that guy. And she's also stringing you along at the same time. Oh, this is like a romance novel. No, it's not. It's real life. And what she's doing, she's playing games with you and stringing you along, and she's lying to the guy that she's with. And I can guarantee you, even if she leaves that guy eventually and she decides that she wants to be with you, how do you know she's not going to do the same damn thing to you? In fact, you can be pretty sure that she will. And you think that you're going to be so grateful and relieved if you ever won the day, you win the girl and you get to be happily ever after. What's going to happen is you're going to always be thinking about those 6-7 months when you were talking to her and telling her all your feelings and she was talking to you while she was dating somebody else. And you're always going to be wondering, is she doing that now with some other guy? Okay? So that's why this person is not worth it. You need to move on.
I mean, maybe he would end up being paranoid and suspecting her of, like, talking to other people. But, I mean, also, if you're pretty secure, you're gonna know your partner is talking to other people. So, I mean, I don't really know the issue.
I hate to give you the bad news,